he's the one who recognized the commercial value of sport, of cricket, whether in India or abroad.
So Mr. Dalmiya is the man of the match in terms of the growth perspective of India in cricket.
Certainly the commercial growth. The BCCI was alert to the opportunity, and they also started focusing on ODIs, which had more appeal as far as fans were concerned. Now we're on the top. We're sitting on Everest.
But now you're scaring me because you're saying words like pinnacle, which means there's only one way to go once you reach the ultimate top.
No, but you keep sitting there, no?
वो तो है, but I mean, what's next? Sooner or later.
No, you create some more stories. You increase the height.
Do we have FSI, Amrit Mathur?
It's in the air. It's a 6.
Welcome to a century of stories. Cricket brought to you by IDFC FIRST Bank, now recognized by Forbes among the world's best banks of 2025. Amrit Mathur is with us, and today we're going to discuss the growth of India and the BCCI in cricket, as well as in dominance in cricket, if I can say that. So, when did it all start?
I think the crucial years were the 90s, because that's where India's rise became evident. The rise, I think, has to be seen from three different lenses. One is the commercial rise. One is the cricket rise in terms of the quality of cricket and the cricketers. And thirdly, in terms of the clout India started having in international cricket. So I think there are three different ways of looking at it. Let's start with the commercial.
Yes, please. I'm always most focused on commercials.
As you should be.
As we should be.
As all of us should be.
As it's in our DNA.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in the early 90s, cricket was always the number one sport, popular sport. There was money in it. But money restricted to the sense that you announce a match, tickets are sold out, you'll get some ground sponsorship. So, that's the kind of money you could make from a cricket match. It was substantial. But that was it. It was like playing teen patti with minor stakes. 20 ki chaal, 40 ki chaal. You can only raise this much money and not more. Suddenly, in the early 90s, it was decided, or it was determined, that the BCCI owns the rights of matches in terms of television. And those could be monetized, those could be sold. So A, it's your property. B, you are free to go and sell it in the market.
Who thought of the fact that it was a private property of the BCCI?
Well, there certain things happened, and the board realized after being in touch with international practices, कि ये हमारी property है. Then they fought hard and got a ruling from the court saying that it's your property and you are free to go and sell it to anybody who pays you maximum value. Earlier you had to go to Doordarshan and they showed the game. If there was on-air advertising, Doordarshan kept it. Their reason is हम मैच दिखा रहे हैं, जो ग्राउंड पे बोर्ड हैं वो आपके, हम जो दिखा रहे हैं टीवी पे उसका पैसा हमारा. So that was not very good from the BCCI's perspective.
Right.
So now when you can go into the market and sell it to the highest bidder, the game changed. So that's where it started. Look where we've reached now. The IPL media rights number, there is about 10,000 crores a year. India contributes X amount of money to the ICC and we get a share. Our share from the ICC's revenue is 39%. That 39% translates into 250 million a year.
Wow.
So you can do the math.
250 million US.
So that's our share. And maybe that's not even the fair share. Maybe we contribute much more than 39%.
Yeah.
But in the distribution, this is the model that's been agreed upon. So we get 39% of the ICC share every year. The next best is England and Australia at about 6.5. So this is the difference. And
So we are the big daddy of the sport.
It's evidence of our commercial clout. Now, how does it translate? Every country depends on India now, not only in terms of this revenue, but if they want to raise money, you invite India to play. And you sell television rights and you keep it and you are fine. So every country wants us to visit. And if you want to do a favor to somebody, we go and visit on our own.
So even small tours, 3 one-day games,
Yeah,
5
so you have to, we are the bailout package.
Yeah.
Countries in trouble, they need money. You send the
India.
You send the Indian team for 3 matches. Television rights will be sold by that host country. They'll be fine. It's happened many times. That's almost like a normal practice. When India went to Australia last year, we had the Boxing Day match at Melbourne.
Correct.
That attracted 380,000 people over 5 days, which is average 75,000 a day. That is the highest spectator turnout at Melbourne in 150 years.
Wow.
That is the highest ever spectator attendance in a test match ever in Australia. So that shows how important India is. India went to England just now. Matches sold out, 5 test matches, 25 days of cricket. Obviously, England wants India to come again, so we are going again next year. We are playing 1 day in T20 matches.
It's almost like they didn't want us to leave. After the 5th test match, we're like, stay!
Maybe play 5 more.
Yeah.
5 more. And because of India not playing Pakistan and it being such a hot commercial property, so England has even volunteered and in fact repeatedly requested India and Pakistan to play in England. So that we'll host you.
They get plenty of support for both teams.
Yeah, they get money. Forget the support. I think the
There
money.
was something with the Canada series that used to happen in the 90s, right?
Yeah, but
Toronto?
Yeah, there was, but I think that was Sahara Cup or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that is now the way the financial structure is. India controls the money. India provides all the money. So India gets a large share, and because of that, we are sort of respected. And you remember Sholay?
Of course.
कि हमारे कहने के बिना यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं हो सकता, परिंदा type. That's where we are because of the commercial clout we have.
Let's talk numbers for a second. So you're saying 39% of what comes into the ICC comes to us as the major player.
Yeah.
But is it not correct that we give you 90% of revenue, over 90 or around 90% of revenue comes from us, our advertisers, our population watching?
It's not 90%, but it's a very high number. I think.
But well over 39.
India, well over 39. I think what number people normally say is about 60 to 70. But then the thing is, there has to be some kind of equitable share because there are 100 members in the ICC.
True.
More than 100.
So we have to be a little charitable.
Yeah, you have to, I think, have a responsibility in terms of contributing to the spread and the growth of the game elsewhere. So this is the formula that's been agreed that we get 39.5.
Cricket's version of the greater good, Amrit?
Greater good.
Yeah,
greater.
yeah.
Some sacrifice for the greater good.
Okay.
Such a nice feeling.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So that's the commercial side.
Right.
Now you said there are three.
So let's do the cricket side.
The cricket side.
So in the 90s, there was a transition phase for Indian cricket. You had the genius Tendulkar who'd already gone to Australia, made that 100 at Perth,
Yeah.
and the world woke up to somebody extraordinary.
Yeah.
Azhar was an established player. Ravi Shastri, again a legend, 80 test matches,
Yeah.
maybe past his best, but
Yeah.
they were the senior members.
Well,
and Kapil Dev, not to forget.
Correct.
That was the senior part of the Indian team, Kapil, Azhar, Ravi, Sanjay Manjrekar.
Yeah.
Then you had the emerging players, soon. You had Tendulkar growing and becoming better. You had Kumble with him. Then mid-90s, 96, Dravid, Ganguly, followed by later Prasad, later on Sehwag, Lakshman,
By the
Harbhajan.
2000s,
So
yeah.
you had this,
Sehwag, Harbhajan,
you had this row of outstanding talent making a mark in world cricket. So that gave Indian cricket respect, and everybody looked forward to this, set of terrific players, and all of them played more than 100 test matches. So that shows how good you are.
Was there a turning point? Would the 2001 Australia series in India be a turning point? Where we come from
Not
behind
the series. Yeah, obviously there were great wins in between.
Yeah.
But strangely, we didn't win any world championship or any ICC title in that period.
No.
But there were great performances, individual performances, great test matches, great contests. But Indian cricket was certainly more internationally respected because of these players and the performances from time to time. So there was commercial growth, there was this cricket growth, and it increased India's standing.
And simultaneously.
Simultaneously, everything happening together. Then various things happened in terms of having a more important say in world cricket.
Clout.
How did it start? Again in 91, when we led this move to get South Africa back into cricket. Now, don't forget that ICC was led by Walcott, who opposed that. But India, insisted.
Clyde Walcott of the West Indies.
He was the president of the ICC,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
readmission into ICC.
He was against.
He was against
South
South Africa. He's not in favor of South Africa's re-entry at that time. But it happened. It happened largely because of Indian support. So that's a plus in terms of your standing. Then we were bidding for the 87 was done. We had done the World Cup. Now we were bidding again for the 96 World Cup, and the bidding is happening in 92. Now in those days in the ICC, firstly you had to fight the dominance of countries who had traditionally dominated cricket. They had a veto. So first you got the veto scrapped. That henceforth.
This is Australia and England.
Yeah. So henceforth no veto. There'll be decision, but no country has a veto to overrule a decision of the majority. So you work to get that off the table. After that, this question of allotment of World Cups. Earlier, if you remember, till then largely it was England.
England, the first three. Yeah.
So now this new system have evolved that it had to be put to vote, and based on a financial bid and a vote, you determine who's going to host it. Which we won in 87. It again happened when you're doing the 96 World Cup. I was part of that PILCOM,
Right.
and which were bidding. Now, we had to organize the votes, and against maybe a very strong opposition from other countries, India won the bid. And we won the bid because ultimately it's a game of numbers. The numbers had to fall in
Pakistan and
place.
Sri Lanka, PILCOM. So
And also the associate members, they are a large chunk. Now, it's a very simple but a very clever formula that you have to give a guarantee and offer a financial package to the ICC, which was split among ICC members. So traditionally, the large chunk went to the test playing countries, which were, I think, at that time only 8. And the associates got a smaller chunk. So in the bid, the formula was flipped, that a larger chunk would go to the associate members and less to the traditional
it's
test
like
play.
the Qatar bid for the Football World Cup,
Maybe.
where they were
Yeah.
able to get the smaller,
Yeah, because the associate members are a larger group. So if they vote as a block or a large number of them vote for you, you win the bid.
Right.
So ultimately India won the bid. We had the World Cup. So that also gives you more stature. That was 96 World Cup happened.
Yep.
97 Mr. Dalmiya became the ICC head. He's the first non-cricketer
To head the
to
ICC.
head the ICC. He's the first Indian to head the ICC. So that gives us even more clout. And after that, there have been successive Indian, officials who led the ICC. Mr. Sharad Pawar was there,
Shashank
Mr. Srinivasan, Shashank Manohar, and now Mr. Jai Shah. So 97 was actually the watershed moment when we were directly heading the ICC. So now it has reached a situation that we are not only there. Initially, we were, if it's like a high table at a dinner party, we were in one corner. Now we are on the high table and we decide who sits there. We decide the seating arrangement. So that's how it's changed. So that's how we've evolved as a country who has a say in world cricket. And today, if cricket is a solar system, we are the sun. Everybody else revolves around us. Now, strangely, Mr. Dalmiya was board secretary, and he moved as board secretary to the ICC head. When he finished his term there, which was in 2000, he came back to the BCCI and became president in 2001. So it's a bit of a
Reverse.
it's not the normal trajectory of moving upwards. Yeah.
But is there a case for the other side to say that we have too much power now? That we dictate everything?
Listen, how do you decide that you have enough power or too much power? I think that's...
What was the democratizing of the whole process that happened when England and Australia had too much power, veto power, for example,
Yeah.
etc., etc. We brought that down. But while bringing that down, it looks like we've elevated ourselves into a sort of superpower, above everyone
Listen,
else.
which we are.
Which we
are. And it's the numbers which speak, which are the reason for the dominance. It's the commercial world. In fact, there is a strong feeling that we should be getting more than 39%. As you mentioned, we're contributing 70%. So why should we sacrifice 30% of the revenue which the ICC is getting? So we are the dominant power, and that's the way it is. And whoever has power, which is commercial power, will call the shots. So it might not be convenient to others, but that's how the world works. And I think we are happy to be in that situation where we have a say in how the game is being run.
Okay, let's look inwards then for a second, Amrit sir. If you look at BCCI vis-a-vis the states, the growth of cricket beyond the big states,
Yeah.
we have come a long way from,
Yeah.
say, the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
And there are all kinds of, I mean, just look at the way Saurashtra has risen in the last few years, for example. Even states like Goa and all that were not known to play cricket have, been punching above their weight. So how's that working for India internally in terms of we are doing this with the associated countries, trying to push it across the globe, etc. But what about the states which didn't have the cricket superpowers or infrastructure in the past? Have they also come up?
Yeah, I think there's great support from the BCCI. They get the state association get a large grant every year for their cricket, for infrastructure.
Which would be
for
about?
It's substantial.
Sir represents both sides on the field and off the field.
No, but the point is, money is not an issue in Indian cricket. We have enough money to do what we want, and it's being done. India has international venues which are perhaps more than 20 or something. Every state, some states have 2-3 international venues.
Correct.
Gujarat, Karnataka, others.
What says 10
Madhya
to 12
Pradesh.
IPL teams, you can just do the maths on that alone. Yeah.
So we have the best infrastructure. We have the most generous system of payments to players. An average Ranji Trophy player, you know what he earns every day? Take a guess.
I think it's a lakh now.
No, every day is a guaranteed 60,000 each day.
60 grand a day.
Yeah. So if you're playing a 4-day game or a 5-day game,
2.5 lakhs, yeah.
And that is the base price. If you have played a certain number of matches, maybe about 20, 30, 40, it goes up. So that is, I think good compensation for encouraging a player to take to cricket and to stick to cricket.
So without playing international cricket, if you have a 15-year career in Ranji and play consistently, you can have a decent income.
Absolutely. Because these are base prices. And if you have got certain more skills, you land an IPL contract, which is separate, which can be life-changing one season. So I think cricketers are financially well off. Well, they're rewarded properly. I think it's difficult to say well off or not because that's all relative. But it is a career, and it is a full-time career because if you're playing Ranji Trophy, you're playing Mushtaq Ali, and you're playing white ball cricket, you're playing 8 months a year. And you're playing so regularly that you can't do anything else. It has to be at the expense of either your studies or a career outside cricket. So if you are professionally committed to cricket, then you need to be properly rewarded, and that's happening.
IDFC First Fact. The popularity of the ODIs and its commercial importance to the BCCI meant India played a lot of them in the late 90s. In fact, the most ODIs that a team has played in a calendar year is, guess, 43, which India played in 1999. 43. In fact, there was a 10-day period in 1999 when the Indian team played 7 ODIs in just 10 days. That's right. They played 4 matches in the 1999 Singapore Challenge from September 4 to September 8th versus Zimbabwe in the West Indies. They then travelled to Canada to play 3 matches against Windies from the 11th to 14th of September. 7 in 10 days. Unbelievable. So what is the future then in terms of the ICC? It will go in this way where we are the driving force? Will somebody else rise up?
Listen, the thing is, India's growth, whether you saw it commercially or the clout or cricket, it happened over a long period of time.
2 decades.
And now it's reached a peak where everything is in place. Now, one reason for all this was the foresight and the work of Mr. Dalmiya. It's strange but he had a key role in all of these decisions, whether it is to release and unlock the potential of television, money, whether it was in terms of standing up in the ICC and pushing India and getting the World Cup and heading it in that manner. So he's very sort of central to all these 3 themes, not directly in terms of cricket, but certainly in terms of clout and the commercial thing. Now, while his role in Indian cricket is known, we know what he did. He was board treasurer, board secretary, he ran the World Cup, he was the president, and he was ICC chief, then he had a second term as president. We all know that. What is less understood is what he did to world cricket in terms of changing the economic dynamics there. Now, till 1996, the World Cup India held, the World Cup was awarded to a country through a voting system or whatever, And that host country controlled all the commercial rights of that event. And if there's money to be made, the host country made the money.
Right.
They just gave ICC a certain amount of
Like a commission.
money to to grant you that
A brokerage fee or whatever. Yeah.
like a license fee almost.
Right,
You paid them an X amount of guarantee money. Then ICC was happy with that, and then the profit or loss from the event was yours. And normally there was a profit, and each country who hosted the World Cup benefited. When Mr. Dalmiya realized that ICC on its own has no money because they get a small share of the event, they have very little clout in terms of controlling the game because the game is controlled through bilateral agreements. India wants to play England, so they decide ICC is not in the picture. So the ICC is just a little above a debating, society or agency. They don't run the game. They don't have money from the game. All they do is maybe appoint the match referee and the umpires. That's it. So he again flicked the switch. And he said from now on, from 99 onwards, the World Cup will be the property of the ICC.
Whoever is
hosting
it.
Somebody will be given the rights to host it, but the ownership of the event rests with the ICC. So if there is a commercial side to it, the ICC is the owner.
So you reverse the paying pattern.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now small license fee goes to the host.
Yeah, no
broadcast.
license fee. You get money to organize the matches.
Yeah.
So if there's an operation cost, stadium, whatever,
Right.
so you get a fixed amount per game, etc. So, and maybe you have some share of ticketing, but the overall media rights, the overall sponsorship rights, the overall running of the event rests with the ICC. Because of that, the ICC is rich. The ICC sells its own media rights over a 5-year cycle or a 7-year cycle. So, because of this change, the ICC is financially strong. And that is something which Mr. Dalmiya did to world cricket, apart from whatever else he did to Indian cricket. So I think he's the one who recognized the commercial value of sport, of cricket, whether in India or abroad.
So is it fair to say that Mr. Dalmiya is the man of the match in terms of the growth perspective of India in cricket?
Certainly the commercial growth. And also having a say internationally, because he was the first. There have been many other distinguished people after him who sort of carried on that thing.
But he's the one who reaches Everest
But he
first,
was the one first. He was the one who was there first,
Specialized banks, including cooperative banks, investment banks, development banks, and regional rural banks, play pivotal roles in catering to specific financial needs. Understanding their functions can help you make informed banking decisions. Learn more about these institutions at IDFC First Academy. Visit idfcfirstacademy.com to expand your financial literacy. Let's talk a little about Jagmohan Dalmiya in depth. I think people forget his contribution is far larger than we think, and where we are today, not just India, but world cricket, is a lot to do with this man. So what were the qualities that you worked closely with him? So what were the qualities that you saw? What made him special?
Listen, as a person, he was very meticulous, very hardworking, always prepared for a meeting. I've never seen him, off guard or taken by surprise. He was prepared. And he was...
Do you have any examples?
In any meeting, you ask him a question, he'll pull out a paper, show minutes, show an invoice, show a record, past decision, that working committee meeting 10 years ago. So he was never stumped for anything in a meeting. Secondly, he was front foot, never afraid to take a stand, and no stepping back. We've seen it so many times. We have the celebrated example of the Mike Dennis thing, where he got Mike Dennis.
Clive Lloyd sort of backed off.
He got Mike Dennis removed as a referee. There was an issue on Muralidharan's about thing. So if he took a decision, then you couldn't move him. He was that kind of a person. Otherwise, I think he had that innate understanding of numbers. Numbers when it came to an election, whether it's an election at the BCCI or there's an election at ICC or wherever, he knew how to get the numbers together. Just to give you one example, there was an important BCCI AGM election meeting, and somebody from the other side opposed to him came to him on the morning of the meeting saying, I have X number of votes, I'm going to win, why don't you support me? He's telling Mr. Dalmiya. Dalmiya Sahab looked at him directly in his face, and he's a very important guy. He said, Aap jo keh rahe ho, you have only these many votes, much lower than what you think. And if you can tell me that you have 3 more votes, I'll propose you. That other gentleman could not put together those 3 votes. And he was not just anybody. So he had an innate understanding of how to run an election. Fine. That I think is required in an administrator anywhere, because we ultimately work on elections to hold office.
To get the position, huh?
Secondly, he understood numbers when it came to commercial deal. I think he was a hard negotiator, and like maybe Donald Trump, a deal maker.
I don't know if he'd enjoy that if he was still here. Metaphor.
No, the point I'm making is that he realized every time the commercial value of something. And if the value is X, he had the capacity to enhance it, to get greater value. Not that he brought money into cricket. Money came automatically into cricket. There are people willing to sponsor, willing to get associated, willing to pay a price for their association. That's not a problem in India. But he could always raise that level. I remember an occasion when somebody went to negotiate a deal with him, and he was with us, and before going into the meeting, he said, I'd be happy if I pay, say, 100 rupees for it. That's the maximum I can stretch myself to 100. He went into the meeting, came out, having closed the deal at 150, and happy that he's got it. That was Mr. Dalmiya's skill. Paise bhi zyada liye, and the other man is happy that, he's got the deal. So I think because of these qualities, he ran the BCCI, he made the BCCI more strong financially. Similarly, the ICC. So I think, he was, largely responsible during that 10-year period from 90 to 2000, when he was actually in control of the BCCI in many ways.
Also, I think we shouldn't forget that he changed cricket. Ultimately, the entire dynamic of cricket, the way it was controlled and run, changed in his reign. In a sense, the powers switched. The associated countries got a little more power, had a more say. The Asian countries became more prominent, and of course, we became the superpower, so to speak.
So, if you're talking of the 9-year period in the rise, he was, I think, central to many of those decisions which made India reach the stage it has reached now. And now we're at the pinnacle. That was a gradual journey that, you go one step by step up high. Now we're on the top. We're sitting on Everest.
But now you're scaring me because you're saying words like pinnacle, which means there's only one way to go once you reach the ultimate top.
No, but you keep sitting there, no?
Wo to hai, but I mean, what's next? Sooner or later.
No, you create some more stories. You increase the height.
Do we have FSI, Amrit Mathur?
You increase, you get permission or you do something to, make another 5 levels.
Do another deal.
Make another 5 levels and raise the height of the building.
All right, so that's where we are today. India, the superpower, as everybody knows, in terms of cricket. Perhaps more than just cricket. And the ICC restructured for the betterment of everybody, for the greater good of all the countries, including the associated countries. And all this largely thanks to, not only thanks to, but largely thanks to one man.
I think, largely thanks to him. But your commercial rise, your say, cannot be independent of what you do on the cricket field. You can't have power, authority,
and be a weak
team. So I think it's also the emergence of talent and a talent of such outstanding quality, whether it's Tendulkar, Dravid, Ganguly, Virat, much later,
all the way down to this.
All the way down, but that also gives you respect when you go internationally and you represent a country which has players of this quality. So it's all a combined thing.
Maybe it's just good karma coming together at this point.
See, ultimately, a lot of things have to fall in place for anything to succeed. So that's how Indian cricket evolved in those 10 years. And I think we've now seen a stage where it's all in front of us. It's all been done.
So were there any other factors that helped the growth of television, cricket, this commercialization of the sport? Were there outside factors also that helped?
Yeah, there are other factors which also happened at that time, which facilitated the commercial growth of cricket. For instance, in the mid-90s and things, the Indian economy grew. There was liberalization. There were more corporates who were growing, who were looking at an opportunity to reach consumers through television and through the popularity of cricket. So suddenly, the sponsorship increased. The cricket got increasingly interlinked to the rest of the economy. It was not just a sport being played, but it was affected and it could impact other segments of the economy. So cricket benefited from that, and so did the industry. They could reach out to millions of consumers using the popularity of cricket. So it's a two-way thing. And it's also different factors coming together, leading to the growth and commercial strength of the BCCI.
So it's like a movement that happened. The sort of global politics and the way the atmosphere was around the world, India suddenly opened up to the world, the globalization policies, money coming in, money going, us exporting, importing, all that. And at the same time, cricket grew. So it's almost like everything fell into place.
Yeah, everything's falling into place, but you have to also be smart to exploit that opportunity and to use it in the right manner. As I said, the BCCI was alert to the opportunity, and they also started focusing on ODIs, which had more appeal as far as fans were concerned. So the economy is supportive. Then you create a product which the economy also appreciates and wants. So that is also being very efficient as an administrator to redesign and reset your product which appeals more to the fans. So I think the BCCI made all the right decisions. Television on one side, growing economy, and providing fans and the corporates and the economy a product that they want.
I think you had mentioned earlier at some point about how Rahul Dravid had come up with this plan for the next 10 years as a coach, and we should be looking to where we are. I think the BCCI was sort of doing that as well in the 90s under Jagmohan Dalmiya. Looking forward, the vision was always...
I think looking forward, but I think more than being a visionary looking 10 years down the line, they were like a smart batsman who see a half volley when you were getting it. And you're smart enough to put it away. So you're getting an opportunity, you make the most of it.
Now, because you stayed till the very end, here is a tip for you to stay safe online from IDFC FIRST Bank and me. A scam which is getting very popular these days is quishing. Hanji, quishing. Although the name is cute, the scam itself is very evil. Now, in quishing, the scammers will send you a QR code. You scan that, and it will redirect you to a fake website created by the scammers, which can store your personal information. To stay safe, never scan any QR code which is not shared by a trusted source, and don't ever share any kind of information via QR codes. Got it?